Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back for another video with the Terminator. I've been thinking a lot lately about the current state of Total War, from the neglect of historical titles to YouTubers like Admiral Price and now more recently Melkor leaving the space behind. There's no doubt right now it's a very weird time for us historical fans. We've had Total War sagas that were essentially flops and support pulled from titles that deserved more, and we've had a slew of purely fantasy games in Warhammer, which is all well and good to line CA's pockets, but not so much for us historical fans, the OG players who have been playing since the first Total War games, Rome, Shogun, or Medieval 2. There has to be a potential solution for all of this. So I've been racking my brain for the last few weeks, reading in various forums and my video comments to find one. We all know what's wrong with Total War right now, but what needs to happen for it to be right? Let's get started. Creative Assembly are the only player in the grand strategy market that combines grand strategy with battles. That is to say, if we wanted to play a Total War game, nothing else comes close, and CA knows this. CA knows that they can strip out gameplay mechanics without losing too many fans, that they can make purely fantasy games without losing too many historical fans, and they know they can do whatever the hell they want because there is no real competition in their niche of grand strategy gaming. And this is the real problem. This is what's essentially wrong with Total War right now. I know some of you are thinking paradox, but their games are nothing like Total War. They make complex games that focus solely on the grand strategy element of the genre with no investment in battles whatsoever. What sets Total War apart is these highly detailed battles and how those battles can impact the overall grand strategy of the game. Where Total War games lack in depth and detail that those paradox games provide, they make up for to a certain extent in those engaging battles with diverse units and battle maps and mechanics. What CA desperately needs is a competitor or two to start making games that can rival this model. That's why my first two strategy spotlights were on Manor Lords and Knights of Honor 2, games that, if done right, could potentially rival the Total War games. Manor Lords with its fantastic visuals, city building and management mechanics, as well as diplomacy, narrative, and of course, Total War style battles, and Knights of Honor 2, which is basically real-time Total War. If they manage to pull off proper battles, then it sure as hell will rival Creative Assembly. Now, if CA did have competition like this, I see two things happening. First off, naturally, more and more people will come back to the historical grand strategy market, growing an audience that CA helped build, and secondly, that will incentivize CA to make a purely historical game. But not only that, CA will be forced to innovate, something that they haven't done in a long time. Any fantasy fans will call me out on this, but well, it's true. The Warhammer games aren't really innovating. Yes, they've done a lot of work with faction and unit variety. It's a whole new Total War universe with some new gameplay mechanics and campaigns built around a story, like the Vortex campaign, but that's all happened at the cost of some gameplay mechanics that they've stripped out. Political systems, for example, general speeches, naval battles, and more. They're still doing it on the same Warscape engine, because why spend money innovating if people are going to keep buying the same kind of game, right? I mean, the perfect example of this is Warhammer 3. There's a reason why CA are focusing so heavily on battles, guys, the main element of Total War games, because they haven't done anything properly with their battles for years. They knew that if they didn't do something about them, they'd start losing fans, they'd start losing players. They will only innovate if there's a risk to their business, which is why they're working on new battle maps, new battle modes, and new gameplay mechanics in their battles for Warhammer 3. The message I'm trying to drive home here, guys, is for Creative Assembly to really get into gear about new historical games, they need incentive. Will it make them money? Will it be worth the time and energy to innovate? And the best reason to make that happen, I think, is a healthy competition which just currently does not exist. But hopefully with games like Manor Lords and Knights of Honor 2, it will happen soon, and CA will start getting into gear. But until that happens, we will continue to see historical Total War fans leave the scene. That's why, partially, Admiral Price is gone. It's why Melkor is pulling back, or Pixelated Apollo is making less and less Total War videos. With 3K losing support, Troy and Thrones of Britannia pretty much flopping, and Rome Remastered being kind of a disappointment, historical fans are giving up. And this leads me to my second point of this video. I say don't. Historical fans currently have this stubborn belief that the fantasy market is far bigger and more lucrative than the historical market ever was. Just because the Warhammer series is doing so well does not mean CA can't use some of what made those games great in a historical series. Like, why are we assuming they'll screw up a new historical game? Just because Troy, Thrones of Britannia, or Rome 2 screwed up does not mean a new historical game will. Take the unit and faction diversity of the Warhammer games. Take the amount of work that's currently going into battles for Warhammer 3. Take the narrative and story type campaigns that they've been rolling with the Vortex campaign and others. Bring back some older historical gameplay mechanics like general speeches, naval battles, and throw in some of their best dev talent into something like a Victoria Total War or a Medieval 3 Total War, and you have the makings of a fantastic historical Total War game. If they don't screw up with like bugs and gameplay mechanics that don't make sense, this could be really good, guys. There's no reason why CA could not do this after Warhammer finishes. Why are we being so pessimistic about a new historical Total War when we haven't seen one in over 6 years? And just because we haven't seen a proper one in over 6 years doesn't mean we're not going to get one. CA needs to have new competition. It needs to have incentive to be more creative, but we also, as the historical fans, just need to be a bit more hopeful and realistic. Of course, CA have been making crappy historical sagas for the last 5 years because most of their energy is going into Warhammer. Who's to say that after Warhammer 3 comes out, we won't get a Medieval 2 Remastered or a brand new historical game with some of that talent? Melkor is pulling back, and fair enough. As a YouTuber, if you're not seeing the views, then you need to make a change. It's a business, after all. But YouTube is also a platform to speak to you, the historical fans, and say there is reason to be hopeful. Go and play the Paradox games, the older historical Total War titles, and continue waiting because there is absolutely no reason why CA couldn't make a new historical Total War. In fact, I'm gonna bet you guys that Creative Assembly announces a new historical game by the end of 2022. Warhammer will no doubt continue with DLCs and FLCs, but with base game coming out, CA will free up talent and time for a new project. It may not be perfect, it may release with bugs and cause disappointment for some people, but I guarantee that CA will make a game. That's it for today, guys. These are all my thoughts on the current state of Total War and what we need for CA to get off their asses and make a historical game. And as I said, I think they will. You can, of course, agree or disagree, but either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and at least let's have a discussion in the comment section below. If you did enjoy the video, guys, give it a like and absolutely drop your thoughts or any questions in the comment section below. It's a big topic, so I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Don't forget to subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.